Hello, welcome. My name's Simon Gompertz. We're going to be looking at some big announcements on tax from the Treasury. And luckily, we've got Nimesh Shah, Chief Executive of the tax, accounting and business advisory firm Blick Rothenberg, to guide us through what we've heard. Hi, Nimesh. Good to see you.
Thanks, Simon.
Let's plunge straight in. I think you've called it more of the same because we've heard a bit about some of these things already, but let's go through them. First one, air passenger duty. The government has firmed up plans effectively to consult on it, to charge less on domestic flights, but it could be more that you pay on long haul flights.
Yeah, I think it's a drive for the government to get to the net zero emissions target by 2050. It sort of makes logical sense, Simon, that the air passenger duty should be calculated by reference to the distance that you're flying. It's still at consultation stage, so we'll see what happens, but it does seem to make sense.
There's a crackdown on holiday home owners who don't pay council tax, the Treasury is saying. I think what happens is they register instead for business rate, but because they're very small businesses, they're not liable for business rate. And it all hangs, does it, on whether they're actually a genuine holiday letting business?
Yeah, it's one that's snuck in there today. Today's announcements weren't about changes to tax policy, but this one has just gone in there, and it's a fair proposal. I think what sparked this is this time last year, when we had the COVID support measures from the government, a number of second homeowners looked at registering their property as a business and therefore got additional government support. And there were stories about homes in the Lake District and Cornwall getting £10,000 in their bank account. I suspect the government's seen a big spike in the number of second homeowners registering as holiday lets. So today's announcement is probably having a look at that behaviour and tightening the rules to say, well, this relief should only be available for genuine holiday let businesses. And let's be honest, a lot of those businesses have really suffered during the pandemic because they haven't been able to open their doors. So it's targeted very much at genuine holiday lettings businesses.
Just staying with business rate, because there's a huge review of business rate going on at the moment. A lot of businesses extremely concerned about the situation, and they've published other people's views about it. So the results of their call for evidence. But is there any sign as to where the government's getting to on either reforming or replacing business rate?
It's been the elephant in the room for so long, business rates, and I think the pandemic has brought it home even more about the shift from the high street to online and the perceived unfairness that online businesses do better because business rates is such a big cost for the traditional retailer. It's something that the government hasn't been able to answer for so many years, despite the pressure from the business community. I think this is just almost kicking the can down the road a little bit more to try and get the views, again, of businesses, of stakeholders on how business rates could be really reformed. For me, it needs to be coupled with a completely widespread reform of property taxation. I think business rates is a small component of that. Property taxation in the UK is viciously complicated. There's so many different taxes at play. So I don't think you're going to address it just with the business rates reform. I think you're going to have to look at the whole thing across the board.
Just in a word, Nimesh, there's nothing today about increasing capital gains tax. People are talking about that, or reducing a pension tax relief for bigger earners. Do you think we're going to have a lot of this later in the year? Big announcements about tax raising measures?
I think so, Simon. So today, the Treasury were very, very clear that it was about the government's 10-year tax strategy on administration and collection, modernising, digitising the tax system to make it fit for the modern world. I had a suspicion that they might try and sneak in something around CGT, something about harmonising the tax system for the self-employed, but we didn't see anything today. Personally, I think there's going to be news coming through in the autumn budget about what the government are going to do about tax raising revenue measures, because let's be honest, there is a big hole that the Treasury, Rishi Sunak, needs to fill. So it's going to be something that will happen later on in the year, I fear.
Thanks very much, Nimesh, for bringing us up to date on all those points. Bound to be significant developments as the months go by, which we'll keep you abreast of. In the meantime, take a look at Blick Rothenberg's Budget Hub if you want to see how you're affected by tax changes. That's just a question of looking at Blick Rothenberg Budget 2021 on the net, or specifically blickrothenberg.com/budget, and there's some tools to show you how the changes might affect you. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.